So gentle, so psychedelic. Carol, we're gonna have to show more. So just hit pause and maybe fast forward until it looks like they're rocking out. We're gonna give them the rocking out part. I know that's like really weird music to a lot of you, but, there are about 40 people at Neptune's. There we go. My friend David is organizing these. It's a residency every Monday night, and it's really cool. It's really nice. You know, every Monday night, Eugene Chadbourne's one of the most well-respected avant-garde guitarists in the world, and lives in Greensboro. Yeah, Greensboro. So anyway, check it out. Have a drink, see some music. There's no cover. They just pass the hat. And it's really, oboe, Carol, what was that lineup? That was trombone, oboe, guitar, steel guitar. He also did banjo and regular guitar. Viola, not violin, viola, stand-up bass, French horn, who also had a mandolin, and cello. What kind of lineup is that? That's awesome. All right. Quickly, I'll just mention that Neptune's got an Indie Arts Award this week. Did you see the Indie Arts Awards, Carol? The Independent has their Arts Awards out now, the Indies. And King/Neptune/The Garland, the new restaurant there. Have you been there yet, Carol?
I have not.
The Garland, it's Chidi, Paul's wife. He's one of the owners of King's. Chidi has been meaning to start a restaurant there for a long time. And The Garland is really good. It's just a walk-up window now. They're doing lunch and dinner. It's like exotic international street food. No, really. And you go up to the window, and they have spicy cauliflower, spicy chicken. They got rotis, look it up, R-O-T-I. They got rotis, which are like these wraps, these sandwich wraps. She says she got the idea from Spain, and it's really nice. I highly recommend going to Garland, which is in between below King's and above Neptune's. And all three venues just won a combined Indie Arts Award for what they're doing for the community. That's great. So anyway, what are we? Oh, yeah, links. What should we talk about first? Let's talk about McCrory. That slander. Oh, McCrory, you're so cute. The best, most generous interpretation of that, I was there and they cussed at me. I mean, that's slander, Carol. That's slander, monkeys. They cursed me. The image of Pat McCrory running down the street as protesters scream curses at him. You, Pat McCrory, you, Pat McCrory. No, that never happened. It never happened. So the most generous thing you can say is that Pat McCrory is a small child who makes things up if he thinks it'll make him look good. So he's talking to some newspaper reporter in Wilson, North Carolina, thinking, and the best is like he thought this wouldn't get back to anybody, right? God. I've been out there among the people. Now it turns out, no, he's been walking down the street when the protests are happening. And either way, even if that's true, The part about people cursing him? Please. Video or it never happened, Pat. We know your government's got cameras everywhere for those Moral Monday things. Video or it never happened. It's so funny. They just don't know what to do. But here's the key, monkeys. The back and forth, the Thankful Tuesdays that the conservatives are now doing. And you know, Carol, a big chunk of the Thankful Tuesday crowd was legislators, the Republicans themselves. Not the people in, the bottom, but, the big chunk was the legislators themselves. That's great. Good job, guys. Way to support yourselves. But, all this is moot. They've got control. They're going to keep doing what they want to do. We need to be looking at 2014, right? Right? That's right. 2014. Just look at 2014. We have to put our votes where our mouth is. And now remember, between now and then, they're going to limit our vote, try to limit the number of us who are able to vote. They're going to try to increase the lines, make us all vote on one day, ban early voting, even though it's the most effective thing to get more citizens to vote. Think about it. What kind of politician says the fewer people that vote, the better? That's what they're saying. The founder of ALEC, the Legislative Exchange Council, that's behind most of the legislation that's being shoved through under our Pope now, the founder of ALEC is on the record as saying we have more leverage when fewer people vote. They want fewer people to vote. They are sitting up at night right now figuring out the best way to make fewer people vote. They're getting rid of Sunday voting. What is that, Carol? The one day most people have off, and they're already anticipating getting rid of Sunday voting. So stupid. They don't want you to vote. So, if you're opposed to this stuff, you must help get people to the polls. And we must fight back because they're going to try all kinds of dirty tricks. We have to now establish rules for what happens when people are in line, long lines, at overcrowded polling places, which is what they want. They're going to create overcrowded polling places in 2014 in North Carolina. That is the Republican goal. That's the only way they can stay in power is with gerrymandering and overcrowded polls. Because we're bigger than even their gerrymanders. We have bigger numbers. We have enough numbers to overcome the Republican gerrymanders. We do, if we vote. So their thing is, how can we get them to not vote? So keep an eye on that and be thinking what you can do in 2014. Now, there's plenty to do before then. The latest, Carol, is that someone's introduced a bill to speed up the amount of time that an ex-felon can get a gun. In other words, you can get your gun rights back, and they're going to speed that up. There's a waiting period. Now, Carol, what are they doing for voting rights for ex-felons? They're expanding that. They're introducing a bill that would add, for no reason whatsoever, no reason, a 5-year waiting period for ex-felons before you can vote. But they're introducing a bill to speed up the time, not add 5 years waiting period for no reason, which serves no fraud purpose, no anti-fraud purpose, nothing. They're speeding up the time you can get a gun. I swear to God, this is great. And by great, I mean horribly, awfully, atrociously great. Those two things together, Carol, that's like a 1-2 punch. They're going bam, bam, right in your head. Bam, bam. Twice. Bam. There's the felons. They're going to have to, I should move my lips. There's the felons. They're going to have to wait 5 more years before they can get their vote back. Bam. And here, watch out, while you're reeling from that one, here's one where we're letting people, felons, get their gun rights back. Bam! Faster. Oh, man. They're crazed. We're out of control. And they're all, it doesn't do us much good when the New York Times complains, Carol. At all. New York Times editorial board should probably just shut up about North Carolina for a while. It doesn't help. What does help is organizations getting people on the ground, in the streets, in the communities, organizing to vote and watching out because the Republicans are the kings of voter fraud. We know that. We know that. In the last 5 years, the Republicans have been the kings of voter fraud. Where's the most voter fraud? Absentee ballots. What are they doing? Closing early voting where there's no voter fraud to speak of, none. Closing same-day registration where there's been like, what, one case? And they're not allowing, this is the big one, Carol. If you go to the polls and you don't have your ID with you or an ID, there should be provisional ballots. Provisional ballots, where instead of just turning you away, you are given a provisional ballot, which is a ballot where you say, okay, fill it out, and over the next week, we'll check your eligibility to vote. That's what we need, provisional ballots, instead of just shutting people down and away at the polls and saying that's it. So that's the big battle over the next year. Watch when they come back into session, right? Watch the next time they come back into session how quickly they go after voting rights. All right. The tax plans. Let's put up number 6, Carol, if you don't mind. The tax plans. There's competing tax numbers. Everybody's analyzing. The liberals are analyzing, and the Republicans are analyzing. The Republicans claim that everybody benefits in North Carolina over this, their new tax, quote, reform that's not really reform. That's a blatant lie. I know that because I'm not going to benefit, Carol. The earned income tax credit that they got rid of for poor folks, and that's me. I'm not making enough I make a living, but I have very modest means and modest needs. That's it. You live cheaply, you don't need to make a whole lot of money. So anyway, getting rid of the earned income tax credit is going to mean I pay more. Yep. Raising sales taxes also means I pay more. Yep. Military families. There are 64,000 military families that use the earned income tax credit. It is very likely that most, if not all of them, will end up paying more taxes. Plus, that's not even including the increased sales taxes on services. So the Republicans are touting this as everybody gets lower taxes, and that's a blatant lie. If you're not figuring in your little calculation what the increase in the sales tax is going to do to a family over that year, then you can't, if you're not even bothering to figure that, then you can't say that everybody benefits. And they aren't. They aren't looking at closely. The Republicans don't look closely at what their increased sales taxes will mean to poor families. They're not looking, or to everyone, but they're not looking closely at that. Bottom line, you can carve the numbers up any way you want, but when you look at the dollar amounts that are being given away, that are being given back to the people, 90% of the amount of money that is being cut from these taxes is going to the wealthy, the wealthiest. And the only people who are really going to pay more are at the bottom. Okay, as long as we're clear on that. And this whole bull crap that giving tax cuts to millionaires boosts the whole state economy is such garbage. Do you know what would boost the state economy, Carol? Not getting rid of that 6 months of federal unemployment benefits. You know who boosts local businesses, small businesses? Unemployed people who get their check. Where does that check go? They spend it right away. It's a cliche, but it's true. This whole notion that if you hurt the people at the bottom and then cut taxes for the people at the top, that somehow, this is going to help the general overall economy is crazed. It's crazed. It's bullcrap mythical economics. It's fairy economics. And I say that, Carol, in the winged fairy sense. It's fairy economics. The GOP has this pie-in-the-sky fairy economics, and they still are believing this when it's been proven over and over and over again that it doesn't work. But it's their ideology. They're blinkered. Yeah, just keep doing it. It works. It works. It works. No, it doesn't. Doesn't work. Okay. What next? Oh, we got to talk about the license plates. Boy, we're just plowing through the subjects today, Carol. What? What'd you say? Carol's like, my kind of show, where Todd shuts up on a subject after 10 minutes and moves on to the next one. Look at this. Look at his hair. His hair's going wild. See how crazed my big eyes are? They drive me nuts. Okay, where are we? Oh, yeah. The ACLU of Illinois has just released a major report about this license plate tracking technology that's everywhere now. Now, it's one of those things, see? It's one of those things that you almost either get it or you don't. And the people that get it. And the people that don't, here's the key, don't. And it's like, what? What? Okay, look, the government is going to have a database. Here, let me be loud. The government is creating a database of everywhere your car has been over the past 5 years or 10 years. There's no rules about how long they can keep this information. Everywhere your car has been with all these cameras and license plate tracking machines, right? They're just little cameras that just kind of click, 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 take pictures of all these license plates and keep it in a database. Which doctors you go to, when, how many times you go to the liquor store. Carol, I don't want that known. I don't want to say why, but I don't want the government knowing how many times I go to the neighborhood liquor store. Or the dirty bookstore. Or, what are they doing with this information? Who has access to it? For how long? What are the rules about who has access to it? Guess what? There's been no conversation about this. None. Zero conversation about this. Charlotte, go to my Twitter page, and I link directly to the ACLU's report on this. And they actually list a number of cities and what their policies are. And many cities, a couple anyway, have like 48 hours. We'll hold this for 48 hours, right? Yeah, there it is. Go there. I don't care if you follow me, but on a weekly basis, you should visit that, and I've got good links there. Some cities keep it for 48 hours, this database. Basically, there's a benefit to this. Are there cars and license plates that we're looking for? You got kidnapped children, you got fugitives, stolen cars. Can we find stolen cars? So, ideally, this would catch all of those people. And, ideally, this would be really useful. And they're going to trot out one case where it's been really useful, right? But listen, what's the hit rate? They're collecting all this data on ordinary citizens who haven't done anything wrong. This is location data. Where you are, where you've gone, and they're keeping this for, in some cases, Charlotte keeps it for 18 months. Yonkers, New York has no limit at all. They're just collecting it. And the more we allow it without public discussion, the more they're going to push the boundaries of how long they can keep it. Charlotte keeps it for 18 months. Why? Why? If you're looking for a stolen, lost car, collect the data and get rid of it after what? A week? The ACLU says we don't know exactly how long it should be, but it shouldn't be years. It should be days or weeks. It shouldn't be months or years. And we don't even, we're not being asked about this. This is a government database tracking everywhere you go. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what they're going to build if we don't say no. If we don't demand of our municipalities or our municipal police forces some accountability, some rules, publicly discussed, publicly presented. Who accesses this? How long are you keeping it? Why are you keeping it that long? And do you think that you have the right to create a database of where everybody in Raleigh drives and hold on to that data forever? The answer to that question is clearly no. But it will be interesting to see if the Raleigh PD believes that, or any city where you are, right? Okay. We're not even having these conversations. And now we're finding out that the NSA has started, over the last 5 years, to just encapsulate or promulgate or give me another gate word or eight, to put forward this belief this philosophy, capture everything. All the emails, all the phone metadata, everything on everyone. That's a major change in how the United States Constitution works. The lawsuits have started filing up. Edward Snowden's a damn hero for that. And by the way, can we mention while we're briefly talking about Snowden, Carol, that the United States is pissing on international asylum law right now. The law of asylum is basic. Edward Snowden has carefully released only data that he thinks U.S. citizens should know about and other countries should know about in terms of the scope and scale of this program. He has deliberately refrained from releasing specific data that could harm individual agents or agents in the field or actual projects in the field. He's exposing in the least damaging way possible. You can't deny that. He wants people to know, but he did it carefully, not like the Wikipedia or Wikimedia links, or what was that? WikiLeaks, the WikiLeaks leaks. So the U.S. is stomping, it's pissing on international asylum law right now. That's garbage. We should not be doing that. That's going to bite us in the ass later. So anyway, Snowden, international, oh yeah, the NSA just decided on their own that they were now going to just use a, quote, collect it all philosophy. Quote, collect it all. Everything. Innocent people, non-innocent people. And the same thing with these police license plates. You know, how much information about you does the government want, need, and or deserve? A database of where every citizen in the country has gone at every minute of the day, stretching back for years? In 2020, they're going to have this database of your movements stretching back for years. That's not a violation of the Constitution? What'd you say, Carol? 5 minutes. That's not a violation? Of course it's a violation. Government has no right to that data. And we need specific rules. So the question now is, what is the Raleigh Police Department doing with license plate tracking? We know Charlotte Mecklenburg thinks it can keep this data for 18 months. And do you really think they're erasing it after 18 months? Yeah, fat chance. We'll see though. These are questions that reporters should be asking. What kind of license plate technology is being used in Raleigh right now? How long are they storing that data for? How long do they think they should be allowed to store that data for? Who has access? What are the rules for when and how those people can access the information? You know what the hit rate is, Carol? Out of all these license plate tracking programs, you know what the hit rate for finding a car that they really want, a stolen car or a car, from a fugitive, you know what the hit rate is, Carol? Guess. 1%, Carol says. No. 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 No, not even 1%. 0.8% in some cases, 0.3%. 0.8%, less than 1%. Is that worth the government having a database of everywhere you go in your car, stretching back years and years and years? Huh?
You want to talk about Netflix?
Netflix. Oh, this is the most important subject of all. Screw Pat McCrory. Screw Pat McCrory, that lying sack of crap. Sorry, Pat, you're a lying sack of crap. I don't know what you were thinking with that. They cursed me. Ah. And what was up with that N&O cartoon today? Did you see Wednesday morning's N&O cartoon at the bottom? Who is that, and what was the point of that? That was a confused mess. Anyway, it seemed to be believing that Pat McCrory, was right when he said people were cussing at him. Well, it never happened. Anyway, Netflix, this is the most important thing. Screw Pat McCrory. This is the most vital issue in the country today. You guys know about those black bars on the top and bottom of your TV screen when you watch DVDs sometimes, right? It's the full thing with the, you got that long trying. What? Letterbox. There's a word for this. This is good. Language has evolved. So the letterbox, right? Well, you know, the letterbox used to be, customers used to hate it. They thought they were missing out. They didn't realize, now that we all know that the letterbox means you're seeing the full shot. Whereas if you don't have the letterbox, you're only seeing part of the shot, right? You're getting the ends cut off. Well, Netflix streaming, without saying it, you know how sometimes you get those DVDs or the full screens and they say at the beginning, this has been cropped and modified to fit your screen, right? Or on TV? You're at least being told that this is not quite the director's vision. Netflix, without saying a word and without announcing it at the beginning of its movies, has started cropping and cutting the sides off some of the movies they're showing streaming. And there's a website, and if you go to my Twitter page, go ahead and put the Twitter page back up, Carol. I linked to it. whatnetflixdoes.tumblr.com, I believe is what it is, that shows you what the actual movies are supposed to look like and what Netflix is doing. This is vital. Netflix is hip. Orange is the New Black, that lesbian prison drama, is getting all these great reviews, and I really want to like Netflix, and Netflix is going to win an Emmy or 2 this week, right? But so why? Why, Netflix? Why? Why are you doing this?
25 seconds.
Why? I pay you money, Netflix. I want to do the streaming thing. Why are you cutting movies without telling me?
They probably figure
Just tell me.
they probably think your video monitor or your
Your TV, yeah, they think they're trying to get it to match the TV. Who cares? Announce that you're doing it. Oh, 5-4, all right, we'll be back. Take care of each other. Love one another, my brethren and sistren.